All right, welcome everybody to the Business Leaders Podcast. I'm super excited because we have Ankur, and he's our special guest today. So, real quick background on him. He's a CEO, CMO, BOSS. Yes, I just spelled boss. He's worked with some incredible companies like SHREDZ, with Skinny Bunny Tea, with Flavor God Seasoning, and also founded companies that you've probably heard of. I know I definitely have, such as Youngry and also AKG Creative. So with that, he's also author, speaker, brand strategist, all types of stuff that we're about to dive into. But I just want to jump into, man. I want to jump into a little bit about your story because
What's up, man? Let's go.
And your birthday's coming up, right? 2 weeks.
That's true.
Dude, 2 weeks.
I mean, after 30, you don't want to remind me about when my birthday's coming up.
Well, I mean, this is special. It's the end of the decade soon, right? Like this decade is 2020, and then it's a completely new decade. So I mean, special time for sure.
You're in your 20s, aren't you?
21,
yeah. After your 30s, you don't really count the end of the decade or any of that stuff. It's just all downhill after that.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, I'm just going to stick with 21. I'm going to stay that age. I'm Mexican anyway, so.
Wait, you're 21?
I look young. Yeah.
Dude, we need to take a shot.
We do need to take a shot. We got this special bottle right here that Keith, why don't you join in on this too? You got to, he brought
Keith,
this bottle.
you got to get one of these. You're new to Pittsburgh, right? So you haven't been to Maggie's Farm yet.
No, I haven't. Kind of like you, I don't really associate myself much with Pittsburgh. I'm from LA.
Yeah.
Like I love a ton of people. I love that type of chaos, and I think the same thing.
Pittsburgh is one of those things where there's like 3 things I love about Pittsburgh and 3 things I absolutely hate about Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So, one, let's just start with the stuff I hate, right? Because that's the fun, go ahead. You got this?
I got you.
So the airport doesn't have enough direct flights, right, Keith? It's like the worst.
Yeah.
People here do not know how to drive. If I'm taking 376 and there's like an accident on the road, I'm going to be stuck there for 5 to 10 minutes for sure, for no reason at all, right? And then, I have dealt with racism twice here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's weird, right? But and most of the times when I go to restaurants, you're an ethnic dude, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm the only ethnic person in the restaurant.
Same. Yesterday,
it caught me off guard.
Afghani.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
It's the little, mustache thing going in, right? How was it hitting puberty at 21? It was good?
Oh, it was great. Yeah. My voice got deeper.
Oh, yeah?
Finally getting more attention.
3 things I love about Pittsburgh.
Cheers.
Hey, happy birthday and happy almost birthday to you.
Everyone in Pittsburgh drinks. Oh, man, this rum is delicious.
Promise the camera will stay steady now.
That was actually really good.
That's great, right?
Yeah. But everyone drinks.
Everyone knows about sports.
Yeah.
Right? In New York and LA, you could go on a date, and the chick doesn't even know what a touchdown is. She doesn't know what a 3-point shot is. None of that,
totally.
Right? Everyone here knows about sports. And the food in Pittsburgh, it's unreal how good it is. Dude. It's amazing.
Yeah, I agree. And being here, there's so much more culture than in LA. Like, there's no fake people. I think there's a lot of culture here. You don't think, at least in LA, there's like facades. Yeah, there's a lot more facades in LA.
Okay. I guess I see that. But, I think there's ethnicities in Pittsburgh that just don't exist. At least you don't see them. I know, literally, they don't exist here. Right?
Oh, no,
this is going to be so controversial me saying this out loud, right?
Yeah.
But, dry cleaning is so expensive in Pittsburgh. It's like the one industry that immediately affected me as soon as I moved here.
Really?
Right? So in New York or LA, you get a shirt for $1.25.
Yeah, that's what I'm used to. I haven't done
You get pants for $1.75, $2, whatever, right? Pants here are $5.50, and a shirt is $3.75.
That's new news to me.
Yeah,
I didn't even know that.
crazy, right? It's just the way that the labor force is here. That's the rates.
Yeah.
I found a dry cleaner here if you need one. It's Metropolitan Cleaners.
Yeah, I'm gonna take note. Yeah. Okay. Carson, East Carson.
Yeah.
Okay. Sweet.
Yeah, I just recently became a Yelp Elite, so you can just go to my Yelp Elite profile and you can find all my recommendations for any service you need.
How do you even get that? You just recommend enough businesses, or you just?
Pittsburgh's one of these towns that doesn't have that many people trying to become Yelp Elite. Right?
Yeah,
I think there's maybe 400 to 1,000 at any given moment here. New York, you're competing against 10,000, 100,000 people trying to be Yelp Elite, so it's very competitive. But here, I reached out and I applied and I found out who was in charge, and she was like, "Yeah, you could totally do this, but your reviews have to be funny."
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah,
they have to be kind of cool.
Yeah, kind of funny. That. You can't write it like you're a 50-year-old man, right? You gotta put some slang in there. But I tried saying that this meal was on fleek.
Yeah.
And people immediately were like, "Why did you do this, man? Take that down. You can't write this. You're in your 30s now, man. That you can't use this vocabulary."
Oh my God! The chef is the goat.
Yeah,
stuff
dude.
like that.
I mean, I tried, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a Salt Bay let me down. The steak was good, but I don't think it was worth the money.
Yeah, no, I feel that. No, there's so much difference here to Pittsburgh, and I take Uber all the time. So on the driving side, dude, like 4 Uber drivers in a row passed the red light. Like they just hit the red light. They didn't even care. They didn't even look back to see if I'm okay. They're just like nothing happened. It's crazy.
That's weird. I had a different experience in Pittsburgh, man. I got here, and my business partner and mentor, founder of the STC Nutrition, one of the company, the company that brought me to Pittsburgh, right?
Definitely.
And he lives in the Strip. I don't know if you know the neighborhoods yet. So I call an Uber, and this car rolls up, and there's a giant contraption on top of it, right? And the guy isn't touching the steering wheel, and I'm confused as to what's going on.
What? Yeah.
And then I find out that Uber, like Pittsburgh is where Uber and all these places created self-driving cars.
Wow.
That's all happening here in Pittsburgh, right? And I'm just like, thank God there's a guy sitting in the driver's seat, right? Because if these guys were running red lights, I'd be scared like crazy. I definitely didn't get in.
So it's self-driving Uber?
Yeah, they're all over the Strip in Lawrenceville.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I definitely didn't get in it though. I was like, no,
you canceled. No, accepted the $5 fee.
Yeah, I was like, nope, it's a wrap. I'm just gonna walk. We're good.
No, I love that. Well, man, I want to dive in a little bit because I think you and I share that similar background of we're both, at least here in Pittsburgh for sure, very few and far from the regular type of people. But
we both got beat by our ethnic mothers.
Oh, 100%, right? Dude. The chancla, I feared the chancla, the belt, all that shit. But also there's I think there's a lot of benefits, to having immigrant parents, right? Because the same way I'm first generation here. My parents are Mexican. They came for that American dream. And it sounds like your family kind of came from that same background too. And your dad even achieved, pretty high up there. I mean, tell me a little bit about like how do you think coming from that different ethnicity, coming from a different country, like where our parents come for that American dream, how do you think that's beneficial? Because I think a lot of people take that like, oh, I'm stuck in this poverty because I only know Spanish, I only know they take it as a disadvantage versus. I think how for us it fueled our drive. It got us to realize, money is an important thing. There's a dream here. It's possible. Like, how do you think that's affected your life, being a first gen?
So I think it's definitely psychological when it comes to being an immigrant, right? Especially in America. So, I mean, how people will complain. I mean, there's rich people who complain, there's poor people who complain. Yeah. You're going to find it anywhere you look.
Totally.
But you're going to hear more about people that have that story where they come from nothing and make themselves into something, because that's that like feel-good story that everyone wants to talk about. But my parents, I mean, dude, literally, I just recently got my mom a new car, right? Nothing baller, right? Just the lease ended, I got a new lease, and she was like bragging about it to all her friends. Because you know how ethnic moms can be.
Totally.
So we're grabbing the car from the dealership, and I'm like, my mom's bragging already. She's already making phone calls, taking selfies. Like, she knows how to take selfies, dude.
Yeah.
It's wild. So I'm like, yo, guys, what was the most expensive thing that like you guys got growing up? Like, what did your parents bring home that was such a big deal?
Yeah.
My mom goes, a fridge. I'm like, what? What do you mean a fridge? She's like, yeah, we grew up without fridges. So like when they would go get like groceries and stuff, like it would go bad in a couple days. And so my dad was telling me like they would go buy a giant block of ice and put it into like a cooler, and then that's how they would refrigerate meals like the next day or whatever if they needed to, right? And my dad's response was a gas stove, and I'm like, what do you mean a gas stove? Like how did you guys cook food, right? Because I mean, ethnic food is like very intensive of needing like a flat like something like where you're making tortillas or like for us is rotis and stuff like that, right? So he was like, dude, I would be underneath my mother fanning the charcoal while the hot plate above the stove was getting hot. And I was like, that's wild. It's crazy, right? So when you come from like that type of like upbringing, I feel like you have this thing that is a deep desired want. And I think people take that for granted when they're not an immigrant, right? Because the wants that you have growing up in this country are going to be very different if you've never seen those who don't have it.
Yeah.
Right? So fortunately, my parents had all that, right? And fortunately, when I was born in India, right, when I was 10 months old, as soon as they could put me on a plane, as soon as I could get all my shots, I got that fob mark with a little polio vaccine or whatever it is,
vaccinated and
right.
That, yeah.
So, I mean, they brought me here, and I mean, their education was worthless here. That was crazy, right? So they had to literally
I saw that.
pick.
Your dad had to redo college, right? Or your parents,
Yeah, so he went to NYT, right? And my mother became a grocery clerk because they couldn't afford to have both of them go back to school, right? So one of them went back to school and the other one kind of sacrificed. My mother eventually went back to school as well, but I mean, can you just imagine how hard that is?
Dude, yeah.
I mean, they came here with no money in their pocket,
Totally.
right, and had to start over from scratch.
All years on their education back home, and to redo it.
Right. My dad had a master's, right, in India.
Yeah.
I mean, he was teaching mathematics, like to like people that like they make movies about that stuff here, right, in America.
Yeah.
So, when you see what they did to become stable and have the ability to kind of eventually have something of their own. I think the dream is to own your own property.
Definitely.
Right, for most immigrants, right? Buying land. And, unfortunately, I've had this conversation with my parents. I'm like, what the heck was wrong with you guys? Who the hell picks New Jersey? Okay, did you not know California existed? Like snow? Like the air hurts your face for like a third of the year.
Yeah,
like,
I
what
hate
were
when you
thinking?
breathe and the nostrils are just like, oh.
Like, why?
Totally, yeah.
My dad's like, I didn't know California existed. Right, I'm like, thanks, Dad. So you heard about New York City, and so you picked New Jersey because it's more affordable and just was what it was. But I think my parents instilled in me that hard work can get you anything you want, right?
Yeah.
And me wanting to have that want based on what I see on media and TV and movies created that drive in me to want to figure out how I could be more than like a blue collar worker in my life, right? So I think my first hustle started at 12, right? Unfortunately, my parents are gonna see this, but like I started selling weed, right?
Okay.
I started tutoring, right? Yeah. And I started doing all that kind of stuff on like this, like whatever I had to do to get cash, right? I sold CDs because this is when I don't know if you know about this, right? But this is when CDRs came out, so we were able to rip music CDs and stuff, right? I mean, Napster, right? I could go download a whole album. I could pop it on a CD, and I could sell it for $3 to my friends. Dude, whatever I had to do, man.
That's crazy.
And like I wanted the new like N64 game, right? So I had to do what I had to do to save up money so I could buy the game. You don't even know what that is.
No, N64.
Nintendo.
Okay.
Like way before the Wii, right? They had a N64, right? There's this one game called GoldenEye that was where it all started, right? And then Mario Kart came out, and like you probably know about Mario Kart.
Oh, 100%.
Okay, thank God. Thank you, Nintendo Wii, for like teaching this generation what's up.
Now they have an app. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I haven't tried that yet. I mean, when the Pokemon thing happened, I tried that, but apparently the car thing's just like that now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
it's like virtual. It's like the VR and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Augmented reality, AR. Getting back to the point that I'm trying to make, I had those wants because I saw life without it. Right. I didn't have a real bed until we moved to New Jersey because I grew up in Queens, right? When we first came up, right? I was in Queens till second grade. My parents had like a 1-bedroom studio. I slept on like a floor mattress or like sheets like my whole childhood, right? And then when I had my first bed, I remember not even being able to like fall asleep at night, right? It was so uncomfortable for me. Yeah, really? I mean, you hear like people in the military coming back from being overseas and like not being able to sleep on their bed anymore because it's just so soft, right? I think Captain America had this problem, right? In the movies, right? They were talking about Mackie was talking to him, right? He was like, the thing that's hard is falling asleep in that bed, right? You can't just do it. But man, I mean, that drive that you see in immigrants, it's like statistically true, right? There was a report that came out that said superior workers are 800% more productive than an inferior worker.
Oh, wow.
800%. That's crazy.
That's, 8
right?
times.
75% of people that fall into that category are immigrants in this country.
That's insane.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, where does that drive come from? It has to come from not having anything at some point in your culture, right? And they're finding a way to have something as you come here and start over.
Yeah, well, it sounds like it's the desire, right? Like it all starts with a desire, and I think just us being immigrant, it's like we see what other people have, what's possible, and our parents not having much. Like my mom had to work 3 jobs. Same thing with my dad. Worked super hard just to put me into a good school. And I'd never see my parents, right? And I'd always ask why, and it's because they were working, because they needed to put food on the table. They needed to put me through education. So just that desire of having like freedom.
How'd you learn to hustle?
Oh, dude, I saw the value of money really early on, and I personally, started. Like I remember the first time my parents, we went to this shop near the beach, and they were selling $40 waterproof phone cases. Okay. And I was like, holy fuck! For whatever reason, just that stood out to me.
All right.
Because at the time there's the Alibaba, right? And then I started looking for what does a waterproof phone case cost in China, and it was
$3.
Yeah, it was like $1 per case
with shipping. $3.
Yeah. With shipping. So I saved up all my chore money. and I bought 100 of these cases.
Dude,
and
you
then,
got chore money?
Yeah, dude.
Your parents are well off. Dude.
Okay, well so what happened is my parents got divorced. My mom got married with my stepdad now, who owns like multiple apartment buildings. So then that like lifestyle shifted, but because my parents were divorced, on the weekends I was neighbors to gang members, to drug dealers, to like all types of crazy ghetto stuff. On the weekdays I was in Palos Verdes. My mom had like the dream car that she wanted, like multiple cars, multiple houses on the same lot, where it was just I got to see the best of both worlds, but also selling weed, selling drugs, just slanging everything I could. But I think that all started from the desire, right? How you were talking about, like,
For sure.
We being immigrants, like, we were given that, we were shown what's possible, and then also what we don't have, and that lack. And it's like, okay, how do I get there? How do I get all that? So what do you feel? I mean, in that experience, like, what was the biggest drive for you? What was the first time you remember, like, I have to do something different? What was that first experience of, like, I need, like, there's a different way of doing things?
Yeah. Shout out to Notorious B.I.G.,
Okay, there we go, yeah.
He had that whole saying, right? FBs and make money, right? That was his whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Dude, I was like in love with this chick, right, from elementary school, right? I would like stare at her on the bus, right? Yeah. But dude, she wouldn't even like talk to me, because I didn't have any paper, right? I couldn't like do anything. I mean, I think I was in like 5th grade, right? There's nothing you could do at that point. But in America, that's like, people start dating and stuff at like a real young age, right? Yeah. So I remember that was around the time that I started trying to figure out how to hustle and try to have paper that my parents didn't know about. Definitely. So I could do things. So I could go to the ice cream truck and buy the chick what I wanted to buy. So, yeah, I mean, dude, I grew up watching Bollywood movies, right? So romance and like finding someone, all that was like embedded in my brain.
Totally.
So women were a driving force for me from, my preteen years into even now, man, right? Yeah. I mean, a girl sees me in like a blazer and like a cleaned up outfit, and she immediately is going to put me in a certain light, right? Totally. I walk into a bar with this type of outfit on, and immediately they're going to like treat me differently, right? Except the 2 spots that I experienced racism in Pittsburgh, right? But everywhere else, right? They're going to appreciate this type of outfit and cleaned up look and everything. Absolutely. But I think if I were to like take women and push them aside, I think the first time that I really realized that I wanted more was when it was time to figure out how to get into college. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, my parents had a certain income level, and I couldn't afford Ivy League schools. Yeah. And as an immigrant, right, it's like embedded to get into an Ivy League school, right? Totally. And I remember my father lost his job when I was a junior in high school, and so we couldn't afford college applications. Wow. And so
it's crazy.
Like I'm like, what would Zach Morris do if this happened to him, right? Because that's the age where I was,
you're
like
watching
growing up, right? Yeah. Saved by the Bell, was my
yeah.
university, right? So I went to the guidance counselors. I started calling universities, like, what do you do when you can't afford the application? So the state of New Jersey gives you 6 grants. So they give you 6 $50 like coupons essentially to apply to 6 schools of your choice. Yeah. I got into 5 of the 6 schools that I applied to. And,
you're
then
resourceful.
Then I figured out what I had to do next, right? Yeah. And, then I picked the college that gave me the most scholarship money, right? And, I was able to pay for school myself from working and doing all the things I had to do. And it all worked out, right? Wow. But I realized that no one was going to help me solve my problem. I had to do it myself, right? And if I didn't do it, I knew what was going to happen to me, right? My mom kind of beat it into me, right? You're going to work at McDonald's and say, fries with that, right? But I wanted more. And I think that was like that moment that I think was definitive, and like it was acknowledged that like I don't want a blue collar life.
Yeah, I love that. And I think like a main point too with all this that Ankur is saying is he asked the right question, because I think a lot of people, they get themselves into this victim mindset of like, oh no, I can't do it now, like it's not possible, I'm just not even gonna try. But they said that the quality of your life is determined by the quality of the questions you ask, and you're like, how can I do it, right? And you literally called people. You're calling people. How can I get in there with that? And like because of that, you not only got multiple free tickets to apply, but then you got 5 opportunities, and you just chose the best one. You just created that.
Gary Vee talks about how he used to like volunteer at like old people centers, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever they call them these days, right?
Old people centers.
Hospices
That's
or,
the first
you know,
time
like,
I heard that.
yeah. Like, you know, communities where like senior citizens live and so on and so forth. And dude, I asked grandparents and like people I would run into in complexes that we lived in, the cashiers. I would ask the craziest questions throughout my life to figure out how to get ahead, right? Because my parents didn't have that knowledge.
Totally.
Right? My parents knew how to work 9 to 5, clock in and clock out, come home with a check, and put food on the table and a roof over my head. Yeah. Right, but they didn't know how to advance in life, and like, you know, my dad doesn't know how to lie to date. Well, right, my mom totally takes advantage of the situation, right? But my dad doesn't know how to lie to date, right? So like, I had to figure out, you know, how to be persuasive, right? Because I didn't get that from my parents. I got that from Zach Morris. Yeah, dude, Zach Morris could crash his car and still get away with it, right? He could like sell a bikini calendar with all his female friends and get away with it. Like, can you imagine if we tried doing that right now in this day and age? We'd be Me Too'd so fast, it'd be ridiculous, right? But dude, I mean, growing up in 90s and 80s television, I mean, taught me all those things I needed to know about crazy. Like how to get around those situations.
Yeah, and I think, and so kind of stemming off of that, right? You were just in the right opportunity. You were watching TV shows. You had these influences. I'm curious, dude, because this is the sickest shit that I've seen. Like, not only were you able to hustle your way through, make the money, create the opportunities to get into college, but what inspired you to get started into DJing? Because this is going to lead to my next point. Because I saw that you did DJing for a couple of years. What inspired you to do that? And just like, tell me a little bit about that. Like how
women, bro, women.
Yeah, always.
Dude, I would go to these house parties, right? Like, I don't know if you know about like real house parties when you live in New Jersey or New York. No. I mean, I don't know what the house parties were in LA in your childhood, right? But like, dude, these basement parties used to be so dope. But the girls wouldn't talk to us. They would talk to the DJ. So I remember, he's actually one of my best friends right now, right? But he like mentored me in music and a bunch of things. His name is Rizwan Alwal. Yeah. It was DJ Riz. And dude, I just walked up to him at one house party. I'm like, dude, teach me how to spin, man. Like, I want to talk to girls. Yeah. He was like, nah, not gonna happen. Sell these 10 tickets first to this event that I'm throwing next week, and then I'll think about it. So obviously I didn't sell any of those tickets. I tried, failed miserably. He took pity on me, and like, he taught me, you know, music and this, that, and the other. But he saw that I was loyal, right? And learning from him really showed me that DJing was like this creative outlet for me, right? This is weird, right? I got 0 women from being a DJ in my entire life. I think there's maybe one hookup I had that was because I was DJing like a family event of hers, right?
Oh, okay.
But like that didn't happen for like years afterwards, right? I just kept in touch, social media, and like you know, slid into DMs and whatnot, right? But dude, maybe I'm girl crazy.
Okay, fun fact about Ankur: if you want him to do anything, just have women there. Bring pretty girls and he will come to you, anything you have. No, but that's cool. But I think one thing like about that though, because one thing I took away from your experience, from your history as a DJ, is that you learned how to take art, design, typography, and basically create demand for anything, right? You're talking about how to create demand for anything. So like, when did you realize, and kind of tell me about that, like what you mean by that, by, I don't know if it was like the lettering or the art, like how did you use typography? How did you use that to create demand? And when did you learn
I was so bad at selling tickets to events, right? Yeah. And, you know, Riz will tell you about it all the time, right? I never got so successful in that world. But you don't make money throwing parties if you can't sell tickets. Oh, yeah. Right? But the party promoters would pay the graphic designer money if they can make a dope flyer. Yeah. Right. And I'm super computer savvy, right? Yeah. And so I'm like, I'm going to figure out how to use Photoshop and do this and that. And one of my good friends now, I watched him design a couple of flyers, right? And in those like 2 things that he taught me, like how to make a box and how to put the text where I want it, I started just messing around. And the flyer rate for a promotional party was $75. Pretty much across the country at that time. Gotcha. Right. So me being the cocky, you know, kid that I am, I'm like, I'm going to charge $125. Right? I'm going to put myself on the higher like echelon of what I'm trying to do. Oh, dude, my stuff was so bad, so bad, and I became probably to date the best Photoshop thief in the world. Right. I started looking at successful flyers in media. Right. seeing what Nike was doing, McDonald's was doing, studying color theory, looking at typography that they were using. Like at a real young age, I was like searching on at this point Yahoo was a search engine everyone was using, or Ask Jeeves, like what fonts are the best, or like the most productive fonts right now, like what fonts are working, and I was looking at the way people respond to typography being laid out a certain way, right? So little things like how big the phone number is on a business card, right? And depending on what industry you're in, you're talking about, if you're running a restaurant, you're probably 40s and 50s. And if your phone number is so tiny that they can't read it, they're never going to call it.
Oh, that's right.
Right. This is before Google Maps and Yelp and all these things, right? I mean, MapQuest came out at a certain point, but even then, like, people weren't finding restaurants on that.
Yeah.
They were getting like word of mouth and like flyers and things, and like they needed to find this address. So learning that typography was important for that type of information. And then typography was important for the order in which you read the words in a design. Right? So,
yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, you could just tell when you look at like a Red Bull flyer or a Nike promotion, right? They want you to just focus on like those 6 words or less that they're choosing on that ad, and then allowing all the imagery to point in the direction of the words, right?
Yeah.
And just understanding that both on a subconscious level and on a like intentional level.
Wow.
I just realized that if I could replicate this, people will show up, right? So if I'm throwing a 18 to party, 21 to, I don't even remember what it was, like to drink, right?
Yeah.
If I was like 18 to dance and 21 to slide, I don't know, there was some weird ass names that were back then. That if I would highlight the 18 plus, you'd get all these like girls from like 18 to 21 coming in, right? Because I mean, at that point in time, most of the 21 plus girls weren't coming out to parties. It just wasn't like their scene.
So it was really,
right?
the market was like 18 plus.
That was the market back then. So things like, okay, bring 5 of your friends, get a free table, right? Things that you need to highlight on these things became immediately apparent because you could figure out what your end goal was, and then figure out what to highlight, right? Now that's something that I don't think they teach in school or anything else, right? Figure out what your end goal is, and then figure out how to show that information for that, right? And I immediately see that in ads, social media stuff. Like you see brands posting stuff all the time on Instagram, Facebook. And I'm just like, what were they thinking when they made this ad, right? Like the stuff that they actually care about
see that all the time.
isn't even being shown, right? And I'm just like, what was the point of this? And then all of that led to the success that I found later, right? Because once I figured out how to do typography in a way that highlights the right stuff, the stuff I cared about, the user doing. I mean, they started coming up with terms like, user interface, user experience, call to action, right? All these different things started coming out as like e-commerce are offering these options to everyone, and figuring out, okay, cool, if I'm going to have like a call now button or a submit button, make it huge, right? Make it so that they can't miss it. Like, don't make it this little tiny 10 pixel submit button.
Definitely.
People have pudgy fingers, right? They can't even like click it properly.
Yeah. Wow. So that's really powerful. So just basically through your DJing career, you were able to realize, okay, in order to really make money at this, I have to fill up the venues. I have to pack it out. So you began messing around with typography, messing around with the font, with what you highlight, what you make bigger. You got a lot of results from that. So how do you use that now in today's age of ads, of websites, of brand building? Like, how are you using that now, and maybe how you've used that for some companies that you've blown up completely, like SHREDZ and all that?
Not a loaded question at all, right? Yeah. Okay. So what's my secret sauce? So here's the deal, right? Typography, call to actions, user experience, all that is paramount in everything, right?
Yeah.
If I'm showing an ad to a yoga demographic and I have like big, like jack dudes on it, no one's going to click on it, right? It's not going to happen. Every demographic and audience has a different thing that they're going to psychologically like go with.
Yeah.
Now, if you go back to DJing, right, and party promoting and all that, there was this idea of getting community mayors to become your promoters, your sub-promoters, right? And so, like, at the door, say Ankur, and, I get credit that I brought you, and then you can come party at my free table and drink from my bottle.
Gotcha.
Right?
I see, yeah.
Getting credit for the people that you bring created this whole idea that, these mayors in the community can pack out your party, right? Get 5 mayors, you're going to get 50 people.
I see.
Right, because they're going to bring 10
like
people.
Affiliates,
right?
Yeah.
So I'd put that into affiliate marketing when SHREDZ started, right? And I created a way to track what links people would go to. This stuff didn't exist when we started, man. Like not in e-commerce.
Yeah.
Like everything that you would see would be like use this coupon code or what have you, right? Dude, man, no one wants to put in a coupon code that doesn't give them an actual discount.
Yeah.
Right? And most brands at this point weren't doing it, right? So I created what was called attribution marketing with links, custom links. So vanity links and things like that exist now, right? But like, I was gonna have like for SHREDZ, I'd have like athlete.getshreds.com, right, or athlete.shreds.com, and then they would promote these links without needing a code or anything, and now that customer would always be attributed to that person bringing them in.
Got it.
So, taking it from the streets into e-commerce was like such like a straightforward connection, and like that's what kind of caused the success with what we were doing, right? There's a lot more to that story, but attribution marketing hasn't gone away in today's world, right? Yeah. And what we do with everything that happens now, but it's definitely changed, right? Now attribution marketing has so many more levels to it, because originally it was just like, hey, say my name and you can get that free drink on my table, right? Or hey, say my name, you get 10% off and I get credit for whatever it is. Yeah. But now, you're talking about PPC ads, you're talking about Amazon, you're talking about Black Friday sales, you're talking about Memorial Day sales. All of a sudden now you have to segment your audience in like literally hundreds of different groups. Totally. Because imagine that you're buying like a pair of Nike shoes, right, on Black Friday or one of their sales, right? And these pair of shoes that's originally $150, you're getting for $75. Are you ever gonna pay $150 again? Nah, don't even play, right? Now, as a grown man in his 30s, I'm gonna tell you a secret, right? I buy brand name clothes, but I don't buy them from the brand name stores. I go to Marshalls or TJ Maxx or Burlington Coat Factory, which, by the way, sells more than coats. Burlington, holla at me for ambassadorship. But you could literally get the dopest, flyest gear at like 70% off.
Dude, I agree.
Right? Yeah. I'm never going to buy like a blazer from like a custom shop ever again, right? One, because like I go to the gym and I fit myself for a certain size and like, now I'm good, right? But like two, it's ridiculous. Like, why are you going to pay full price? Now, when the people come up with that understanding, right, you could never show them a full price ad ever again. You're just throwing away money. Yeah. Right?
That makes sense.
Now, if someone came because, like I gave you this link, right? Carlos.encoresgear.com, right? And, people came to my site for Carlos. They're your boys and your people and your girls, right? And they're going to be like, okay, cool. I want to see Carlos's face on the site. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was my boy. He hooked me up with this link. Cool, I'm going to go buy it. Now, instead of I'm like, okay, this is Encore's face, I'm not going to see Carlos anymore, they're not going to be bought in anymore. So you not only have to segment your audience, you have to create customized user experience based on why they came to your brand.
Wow. No, so it gets deeper. Yeah.
It gets so deep, man. All right, so look at Verizon and T-Mobile. Okay. So what do you think the number one question is that someone asks when they walk into a Verizon store?
What's your price?
Let's try again.
Okay. First thing when they walk to a Verizon store.
Yeah. This is like one of my favorite questions to ask. So like, I'm gonna
give you one more shot. Answers, I'm sure. Okay, let's see. Can I see your phones?
Yes. What phone should I get? They're not asking how much. Yeah. They're not asking about your plans. They're not asking about why Verizon. They're like, which phone should I get? Verizon calls this the 95% sale. Yeah. 95% of the sales process is already finished before they even walk into the store. Okay. Go to a T-Mobile. What do you think is the first question someone asks when they walk in?
The pricing, probably.
Try again.
Also, what phone should I get?
No, man, no. Question? You walk into T-Mobile, you ask, why should I sign up for T-Mobile?
Okay.
We know Verizon's better. Like, definitely. Prove to me that your network will do. None of the sales process happened before they got into that store. Maybe 10%, right? It's because they found the store or whatever. Maybe T-Mobile like blasted them with hundreds of ads to get them to go to the store. But there's two different like trains of thought of all this, right? I think e-commerce that's affiliate based or like attribution based has to be the Verizon sales model. And if you don't customize everything to have that 95% sales model, you're never going to win. Wow. And that's the difference between lazy brands and non-lazy brands. I'm not saying T-Mobile doesn't work, because T-Mobile does insane value ads, right? They're going to give you Netflix for free. They're going to give you Apple Music for free. They're going to give you a phone for free. Buy one, get one. They're going to like $30 a month with no other fees. They do whatever they have to get close to someone. But as a company or a brand, you have to decide, do you want to be the bargain guy or do you want to be the industry leader?
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And so with that too, how you took that from DJing to now applying it to e-com stores, applying it to different brands and businesses that you're doing. You really pioneered what's now called influencer marketing, right? Influencer
you're
marketing.
Make me blush.
No, I really believe that, because this was years ago, kind of how you said. I think just now it's become like a big thing, like, oh, influencer marketing is the way to go, like within the last year, but you were on this years ago. So I think at one point too, I took note here that at one point, 1 out of every 10 posts, and this you even mentioned, it can't necessarily be proven, but I think this is still pretty damn exciting. 1 out of every 10 posts on Instagram came from an account affiliated from Ankur's team. You and your team.
I think the ratio is actually 1 out of every 3, to be honest.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah.
But I mean, the way we calculated that was kind of like interesting. There's a couple articles coming out about Instagram about how many posts come out in a day.
Yeah.
Right. We're like, wait a second. If you divide that number by 3, that's our post today.
Wow.
Wait a second. Does that mean 1 out of every 3 posts is
that's
ours?
Crazy, yeah.
And we're like, whoa. 1 out of every 10 was the ratio for in someone's newsfeed. They would probably see us 1 out of every 10.
Okay.
And that was just the way the algorithm ran.
Yeah. Wow, that's insane, man. And so, like, with that, there's a big question, right? Influencer marketing. So you pioneered it. You're a master at this now. So how does someone with no clout, right, with a business with no clout, maybe an entrepreneur with no clout, how can they use this for themselves, right? How can they use other people's popularity? How can they use other people's influence to drive traffic to them, to their business, products? Like,
sorry, bro, that's the wrong question. What's the goal?
The goal, let's say for a studio like this, right, to bring a ton of people into this, have these rooms booked every single day.
Okay, first of all, Studio Me is so dope.
Yeah.
Okay. I've been in Pittsburgh for 2 years, and I didn't even know stuff like this existed.
Yeah.
And now that I know, I'm definitely going to be shooting here. Like, you're welcome, Keith. But the situation is that X plus Y equals $. Okay. This is a formula that they'll teach you in school. Product X that you go into product development for, whether it's a service, a location, a physical product, whatever, has to be developed, and you have to invest in product, right? Product research, product development teams. You hear about this all the time.
Totally.
Audience Y. This formula got created when Generation Y was coming out with the baby boomers and so on and so forth. So you got to have people that know about the product and a good product, and then you can get a $sign on the other side.
Yeah.
Right? You have to have supply and demand, right? That whole idea.
Definitely.
Now you take X plus Y and you put parentheses around it and you raise it to the Z power. I call it Z marketing. And that will exponentially grow the amount of $signs that you're getting on the other side.
Yeah.
Now what people forget in any type of sales process is you have to invest in all 3 things. Okay? So if you're trying to grow the following of Studio Me, people need to know that Studio Me exists, right? So you have to create civic awareness that this place is here. Right, you're doing a great job. You're offering me alcohol. You're offering me free video editing. Yeah. Keith is offering me free studio space.
And with that, real quick moment for the sponsors. Okay, the Studio Me supplied us with this space. I think that we got to take another shot for that.
To Studio Me, I'll take shots all day.
Come here, Keith. Keith is the man right now helping us out with the video and making this all possible. Not only our dream, but a lot of people's dreams. So
while you're pouring, I'm going to go ahead and say a little bit about the product X when it comes to Studio Me, right? You guys have a phenomenal product right now with what's going on. And, after our conversation when I got here an hour early because Carlos was late, Keith and I were talking about how you're going to be enhancing the space even more, right? I mean, dude, I saw the state-of-the-art room that you have that's like almost fully automated. I haven't even seen that in LA or New York, man. Like, that is so cool. Dude. And people need to know that you guys are investing in the business and doing all these things to make it better, right? So that's the X.
Yes.
Cheers to that.
Cheers.
Right?
Thank you.
Keith's buying me a steak after this, so I sober up.
Yeah.
So you take a product X that you're continuously making better. Okay. You have to grow your audience, right? Now, there's proven methods to do that, right? There's outreach ads, there's organic content, and there's like a science and a psychology behind how to do that the right way. Marketing is something that's evolved over the years, right? But at the end of the day, it hasn't really changed. Create demand for your product and people will want it, right? Now, how you go about creating demand really depends on what you do, right? So for Studio Me, I mean, dude, there's massive demand in this city, right? For this type of service. People, you already have it. It exists, right? What would make it even cooler? Like Keith and I were talking about this podcast, you got to have behind the scenes footage. People want to see the smoke show. They want to see the fact that you have lights, that you have green screens, that you have the whole room set up, right? They don't want to just see your face. I mean, they definitely want to see my face, right? I'm such a good-looking single guy in Pittsburgh. Ladies, holla at my boy.
Highlighted
right.
that.
But people need to see all of that kind of stuff, right? And then they're like, whoa, that's cool. I've never seen that before. Maybe let me schedule a tour, right? There are like 3 shortcuts to succeeding in a physical retail business. Okay, one, have packages that people will never say no to, right?
Yeah.
This is what the gym model is, right? $1 membership at Planet Fitness. Come on down. Oh my God, it's only $1 to have this emotional connection with weight loss. People are going to jump in right away, right? If you look at something like Chipotle, right? They're going to have like free guac day, or they're going to have free queso day, or whatever. Man, that just works, right? If Studio Me was like, free editing day, right? Or this month, every single person that books gets 2 free hours of editing, right? If someone like me, who's a business owner in Pittsburgh, will be like, whoa, 2 free editing hours? That saves me $300. That's like another 14 orders of tacos at Taco. Like, dude, like I'm down with that, right? Like I need to go ahead and book this because I'm already paying for that expense from whatever I'm getting it from, right? And I think if we look at that as the first thing, right? Packages that people can't say no to, right? That right there is dope. The second thing is getting people like me on, an episode like this, right? I have 150,000 unique followers. I probably have, 7 from Pittsburgh because that's how large the population is here. But I have access to a lot of communities, right? The AMA, the AdFed, Leadership Pittsburgh. I mean, all these people that I meet constantly because I'm networking like crazy, right?
Totally.
Again, I'm single, trying to meet women. I'm constantly going to these events. Clearly, that's a driving force for me.
Number one desire.
So,
there.
love. So people are going to hear that the spot exists, right? And I'm going to ask people, hey, yo, come on my podcast. I shoot at Studio Me, right? It's centrally located. Everything's going to be great. And because who wants to go out to Robinson, where my other podcast studio is for everything, right? The one that I built with my own 2 hands, sweat and tears. I wouldn't say blood because I didn't bleed while I built it, but definitely tears. Man, it was so hard. But literally, getting people that are community mayors in a retail location makes the biggest difference, right? If you're a restaurant in LA and you get the celebrities to show up and you get paparazzi to say that they were at that restaurant, it's going to be packed for the next 90 days.
Oh, yeah.
Right? People are still calling for whatever it is, right? And I think the third thing is creating exclusivity with what you offer, right? One thing I thought is definitely messed up on the Studio Me website was that you don't get to see what the hourly availability is. Right? Like on Calendly with you and me, we were trying to figure out what are the availability to hop on a call, right?
Totally.
If you guys had something like that for all the rooms that was just like immediately available, like barbers do this, right? There's an app called Booksy, right? My barber, Jay, Pro Barber, that's his Instagram handle. He's dope. If you need a barber, let me know.
Okay. Actually,
I got $10 off coupons in my wallet somewhere. But, barbers on Booksy will be like, yo, I'm booked. You can't get a haircut today. You're going to have to come next week, right? That exclusivity makes someone want to book like months in advance.
Wow.
Right. And that's how you're able to go from like 25% capacity to 50% capacity, 100% capacity. And you don't have to worry about the next months. But if you're not showing people that if you don't book now, you're not going to get it, like no one's going to jump on it right away. Right. You have to create that sense of urgency.
Totally. So the sense of urgency and the exclusivity. So let's say for somebody that, I'm sure there's people watching this that maybe their calendar links, their schedule isn't as booked. How do you create a sense of urgency, or how do you create that sense of exclusivity when you're not even quite there yet?
Yeah, okay, so Jay Pro Barber, right? This guy is a genius, right? What he's doing at keeping his chair filled, right? So he only takes in appointments on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, he takes walk-ins only.
I see.
Right? So if you're walking in, you might have to wait 2 hours to get a haircut, right? But it'll try and squeeze you in. There's no guarantee you're going to make it. So you're going to book Tuesday and Thursday because like someone like me doesn't have time to waste. Totally. Right? I'm not going to go sit at a barbershop for more than like an hour and a half, right? And while you're starting off and you want to create exclusivity, be like, okay, cool, we're taking appointments on these days and these days only, right? And maybe you create a package where on those days you have like a free PA that's like helping run the cameras or whatever, and it makes it easier for staffing too in that situation. But I mean, that's the easiest solution, right? And then you take walk-ins or you take like your corporate clients and you book them on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And you don't have to worry about Tuesdays and Thursdays because you let the web presence do the rest of it.
No, I love that. Yeah, I love that a lot. And so...
And Keith, you have to lie. And on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, you say booked. right? So people just like see that, right? I mean, I'm not saying fake it till you make it, but I'm just saying like the reality is it's not available.
Oh, we'll book it. We'll Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, all those days. We'll be here.
5-finger discount, I'll be here.
No, I love that. Okay, so I want to quickly I want to ask you this, man, because you have so much going for you. You have such incredible results built multiple 7-figure companies with all across the board from brands to supplements. If you're looking for anybody,
9-figure companies.
9-figure companies. That's even crazier. What is your mission right now, man? Like, what is that like ultimate end goal for you? What has to happen before you die?
Do you know who Manoj Bhargava is?
No, Manoj Bhargava.
Okay, so he's the guy who created 5-Hour Energy.
Okay. Yeah, I know that.
This dude's like my straight up hero, man. Yeah. This dude made $1 billion+ right? And he spent 99% of it to try to save the world.
Wow.
Okay. Now, as like ridiculous as to say that out loud, and I know my boy Riz is gonna like make fun of me about it, right? I want to make a difference, right? I want to know that after I leave this plane of existence, that I change the world for better. So, I get SHREDZ. One of the coolest things was that we during my time there, right? I remember we counted once. We had over 150,000 documented positive testimonials of how we changed people's lives from using our product.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
150,000.
That's crazy.
Right? Like, it's cool. I can die
impact.
Now. It's all good. I did enough, right?
Totally.
But the thing is like, I'm not a regular person, right? I want more, right? I want to be able to continue to make that type of change with what I'm doing. So when I align myself with SDC, one of their brands is called About Time, right? This is literally a brand that's like helps save people's lives, right? It's the cleanest like supplement products that are out in the market, period, right? I mean, the claim to fame is less than 5 ingredients in like their protein products, and like people who have all these gut issues and like health issues are able to take About Time products and actually like become healthy, right? Fix their nutrition and so on and so forth. And at the end of the day, my mission right now is to get to the point where I have enough power to change the world. Okay, Manoj Bhargava got there because he had $1 billion and he was able to do all the cool things that he did, right?
Totally.
Like, I mean, you don't even know the cool things yet. Like, we could talk about that thing for hours, right? Like, the coolest thing that I think, like, in somewhere like California that has a water drought, right? He created barges that were 100 miles off the coast that would turn salt water into fresh water and ship it back to California.
Wow.
Right. Unfortunately, Arnold was like, "Nah, these barges got to move. It's not making California pretty." But like he just like shipped them right back down to South America and ships them up secretly and does his thing, right? But like, dude, this dude had to have like more than clout, but he had to have power, right? So my means to an end right now is to gain an audience. If I gain an audience, I can start solving the problems that I see in front of me. Let me ask you a question, man. How do you define entrepreneurship?
I mean, for me, and it's funny you asked that because recently I put a post, kind of went, not that it went viral, but like dozens and dozens and dozens of people reposted this thing. And for me, it's, it's risking people, it's risking money, it's risking fun, it's risking all that at the so that you could have your own freedom versus having your freedom bought by somebody else, right? Having just enough paychecks so that I don't dream, so that I don't do what I want, so that I don't have the freedom, like just getting barely paid enough. It's like, no, I'm putting all that at risk so I can live my best life.
So as a person, bro, I love you, right? But like, that's the worst answer possible. Like, you don't become an entrepreneur to get freedom, man. That's the wrong reason to become an entrepreneur in this country or in this world, man. So like, if you only take one thing from this interview, take this answer.
Yeah.
Okay. I define entrepreneurship as someone who sees a better way to do something and has the audacity to try. That's it.
I love that. Yeah.
Okay. Like, please, man, like take that as your reason. Like, if you find a better way to do something, like go out and do it, man. Because the 9-to-5ers aren't changing the world. They're not making a difference in the population. They're not like solving the problems that you hear about Bill Gates solving or Elon Musk solving or any of these guys, right? But it's the entrepreneurs that are actually making a difference. Right? The ones that are like starting these like health crazes and the juice bars and like the different diets and so on and so forth. Like literally they're saving people's lives, right? The people that are inventing medical technology, the people that are creating like the apps that change everything about us, right?
Totally. Yeah.
Now the reality is 98% of them fail, right? Harvard Business Review came out with this huge study where 98% of startups fail in their first year.
Wow.
Dude, how heartbreaking is that?
That's crazy. Yeah.
In the first year, 98% of them fail, right? It's why when Youngry pivoted into becoming mentorship on demand, I knew this was going to be a market that we would always win in, right? But I told you about some of the problems that we ran into over there, and I think eventually in like 2022, 2023, we're going to restart what that is, and I'll know how to pivot it the right way to have the audience and everything at that point. But the thing is that at the end of the day, if there's people out there that know how to make a difference in the world, I want to be able to support them. And I won't be able to do that without money and without political connections, and without power and clout and all the things that it takes to make that happen.
Yeah. No, I love that. That's definitely big, and kind of just how you said, it's about finding a better way to do it and providing value, changing some lives. And so for me, I could relate on that end, because my ultimate goal is to change the educational system. Because I've gone through it, and I know that's huge, right? That's massive.
You can see my facial reaction, God.
But kind of like that requires power. That requires a lot of money. That requires a lot. I don't want to get involved in politics, but I will if I have to.
But to change the educational system, you don't even need money, man. You just need people to come civic consciousness needs to happen. People need to understand how unfortunate the education system is right now.
Yeah.
Right? Like, people don't realize what the dropout rate is of this country. Right? People don't realize that this country is failing to find people that have the skill sets to actually do something, right?
Totally.
In India, right, when you get to high school, you're put in a vocation already, right? You're either going to be in tech, you're going to be in science, you're going to be in fitness, nutrition, whatever it is, right? Yeah. And there's cities in this country that do that. Like New York City has this. You go to a specialized high school for whatever field you want. Yeah. But most of this country is not like that, right? You're coming to a deficit in a city like Pittsburgh, right? I just had a podcast with Aradhna, who's the head of leadership Pittsburgh, right? Okay. And she was telling me this ridiculous stat that truly scares me to my bones. Okay. Yeah. And then in the upcoming years, there's going to be a deficit of jobs in the city of Pittsburgh of 80,000 people. Wow. Okay. That's because the people that are working in this town are going to die. Right.
That's
and
true.
There's not a new influx of people that are trained to do the jobs it takes to run this city. Who are you going to blame for that reality? The education system, right? The city not being more attractive to more people. I mean, dude, this is probably one of the top 10 lowest rates to live, right? I mean, I don't know what you're paying for rent, but it's probably way cheaper than what you're used to paying. Right?
Oh, 100%.
I'm paying $800 a month. Okay, I used to pay $16,000 a month for rent. Yeah. So now $800 a month. I'm like, ooh, this is dope. I don't know if I'm ever gonna leave Pittsburgh for that rate, right? Yeah. I might leave for the dating scene, but that's probably the only reason I'm gonna go to somewhere else. But dude, 80,000 jobs.
That's crazy.
And there's no hope to change it. None. It's fact, right? If you look at the stats, this is gonna be the reality, right? It's talking about global warming, right? Fact. If we continue to live the way we're currently live, this planet only has X amount of years to survive. Wow. I don't know what that X is because all these reports have different numbers, right? Al Gore has his formula, everyone else has their formula, and so on and so forth. But the reality is, man, I mean, the education system isn't creating a future, right? That's right. State it, quote it, whatever, right? The reality is the education system is creating more people that are being thrown into this mess of an economy, right? And trying to figure out what they're going to do, right? Now, what's cool about this world that we live in right now is that it's so easy to get more educated, right? YouTube, online universities, YouTube, right? YouTube, dude. Yeah. I mean, if a kid doesn't know how to tie a tie, just go to YouTube, learn how to tie a tie in 5 minutes, right? It's crazy. Yeah. And man, just the education system, that's such a scary goal, bro. We're gonna have to talk about this offline, man. I worry about you, right? Because I feel like if you don't get to the finish line, you might feel defeated, and that's a big task to take on as an individual person. Totally. Right. Yeah. No, I'm aware of how massive. I mean, Keith believes in you, right? So I mean, Keith's belief gets me to believe in you a little bit too. But first, we gotta get Studio Me packed, right? Totally. And then we'll work on education. Yeah. Okay. You down with that? Yeah, I'm down with that. I'm down with that. And then kind of to end it off, because I want to respect your time and our time here. What question do you wish you were asked more? Like on a podcast like this, maybe on stuff you've been on before, and even this one. What question do you wish you were asked? Let's define that a little bit more. Right now, in my status quo. Right now, in your current. Okay. how do I not fail at my current mission? Right?
Yeah.
I meet people all the time, man, that will ask me the wrong question, right? And man, it breaks my heart to hear that people are failing at their goals, right? I failed so many times before I found victory. And then my biggest success in my life became my biggest failure, right? I went from 100 million to -2.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm building myself back up, and I'm doing all these cool things to get there. I'm going to get there, right? I mean,
Definitely.
I'm not meant to be broke and, you know, in a studio apartment without a girlfriend. And the reality,
He's
man,
single, by the way. Just
if someone doesn't know how to guarantee success, I have a roadmap to solve it. Right? I know you heard about this thing that I have the A to Z, Z to A method.
Yep.
Right? I literally have a formula to succeed 100% of the time. Right?
Wow.
And I don't think enough people are in my audience for me to teach that to them yet. And if I could teach that to everyone, I mean, I would for free. I wouldn't even charge for it.
Wow. I love that. No, I love that. That's huge. And great question too. I don't think a lot of people, just kind of what we were talking about earlier, right? The quality of the questions you ask determine the quality of your life.
For sure, man.
And people don't even ask, how do I not fail? Which is funny. That's funny. But no, I mean, how can people stay in touch with you? What's the best way for our audience and my audience to reach you, ask you questions?
Dude, forget the audience, bro.
Yeah.
You and I need to have a talk. You don't follow me. You're not engaging with my posts. What's up with that?
Dude, I just called you on LinkedIn like 2 days ago, and you were like, let's do this thing. I was like...
That's 48 hours to follow me, start liking some posts, slide into my DMs. Like, what's going on, man?
Bro, I'll do that right now. Here.
Dude, Ankur K. Garg, right? Because unfortunately, some dude bought AnkurGarg.com back in like 94. This jerk,
some Indian guy,
right?
like,
I mean,
another
he's doing his thing in India, right?
Yeah.
I remember emailing him for years, like, yo, Plo, please sell me this domain. It's not doing it. It's on a parked page. Like, please give me the domain. He wouldn't give it to me. So I'm like, fine. I'm going to market Ankur K. Garg, and you're going to hate me for how many emails you're going to get.
Yeah.
Right. That go to AnkurGarg.com that have nothing to do with what you do in life, right?
You still email him to this day?
I have bots that email him every
that's
day just to
crazy,
piss him
bro.
off. Yeah.
That's crazy.
But the reality is that people could easily reach me, right, on any platform. It's Ankur K. Garg on everything, or AKG Creative on everything. Hit my DMs, ask me questions about your business, ask me how not to fail. I will answer anything I can for free, right?
Yeah.
I think I told you before we even started, right? I mentor anywhere from 10 to 12 people every month,
Yeah.
Whatever their business model is. These are startup entrepreneurs, these are friends, family members, and whatever they need, right? I'm literally here to help. And, I mean, hit me up.
Yep, Ankur K. Garg.
I got your back.
Followed him right now.
Yeah,
Okay, engaged
took you
with
long
some of the
enough.
stuff.
I had to literally
But,
drive myself to Studio Me, right? Like flirt with Keith for like an hour before you even showed up, right? And then I had to literally demand you following me.
Oh, dude, you're funny. No, but honestly, you have such a wealth of knowledge, man. It's been such an honor to actually get to know you for the first time. Because I was mentioning to Ankur before is that I actually purchased one of your tickets. So at least I engaged there. I bought a ticket to go to Youngry. And this was in LA, and I had no idea that I was talking to the founder of Youngry. So super just honored to be here, ask you a ton of questions, have some whatever this was specific for Studio
Farm.
Me, which is sick. I didn't even see that till now. Studio Me, you got to check it out if you're in Pittsburgh. Best place to record your content, get all that stuff, video editing.
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna throw this out here, right?
Yeah.
If you currently are interested in starting a podcast, I will fund your Studio Me time.
Wow.
Okay.
You gotta
Hit up
take
Carlos.
that
Say that you saw this podcast. I will pay for your podcast studio time. Let's make it happen.
Wow. Dude, just not only an incredible businessman, but huge heart. So follow Ankur on Instagram. Go check us out. I'm gonna put all the links that you could find him on under this video. Just comment and go in the bio. You're gonna see all that stuff. But thank you so much for your time, man.
For sure, man.
Come
Thanks
here.
for the opportunity.
I don't even do handshakes. Give me a hug, bro.
I gotta take these headphones off for the hugs.
All right, man. Dude, thank you for being on.
Thanks.
And until the next one, we'll see you guys later.